Industry Authority, FINRA, for halting shares in a preferred stock of Meta Metals. And so we want to get into what happened. Why is this such a big deal? Here to help us out is former Torchlight Energy CEO John Brda, whose company was taken over, if you will, or at least the symbol was by Meta Metals. And John, you and I spoke earlier on the phone. It's a tough one to hash out in just 3.5, 4 minutes, but let's get to the crux of the issue here. Explain what happened for the audience who may not know what's going on.
Sure. Well, Charles, thank you for having me on, and I appreciate you giving us this time. Back in June of 2021, we concluded a merger with Meta Materials, and as part of the business arrangement for that transaction, we were to issue a Series A preferred share that was to be non-tradable for all of our Torchlight shareholders of record on the dividend date, on the record date. And we closed that transaction and issued 165 million shares to those shareholders of record. And we went about closing the transaction, and Meta changed their ticker symbol to MMAT, and now they're on the NASDAQ and going about their business. Fast forward about 4 months, and after kind of doing some investigation on whether or not the entire short positions were closed out, we found out that that truly didn't happen. And then two market makers got together, went to FINRA, went to OTC markets, and started trading the Series A preferred as MMTLP, or Meta Materials Preferred. And they did so with fraudulent information on OTC markets. And when I found out about it personally, because they were using my information, I called OTC markets and was advised at that time that FINRA approved it. Two market makers got together and listed it without company input and without the issuer knowing, and they went ahead and allowed it, and decided at that point they were going to do nothing. And so that's
John. This was not the company had nothing to do with this. Two market makers said, "Hey, we want this to trade." FINRA said, "Okay, we'll trade." Retail investors